Hello, you and your friends. Follow the latest international news. Ladies and gentlemen, recently, President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, called on the Russian leader, stop making unnecessary requests to make the conflict protracted. Specifically in the online meeting on May 20th by President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, to the leaders of the European Union, that President Putin, you have to stop making unnecessary requests to make the conflict protracted, and we've got to start doing something. He promised the world. Zelensky added, the sanctions must remain in place until Russia began withdrawing its troops from his country and full compensation for the damage caused by their offensive actions. President Sergei accused Russia continues attacks on Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Although the Russian president and Vladimir Putin, I agree with my American counterpart Donald Trump that Moscow will stop these attacks. Tell me more. The night before, another Russian attack has targeted Ukraine's energy infrastructure. Ukraine must face this daily and nightly. Despite Putin's statements about it is believed to be ready to stop them, the actual attack hasn't changed. Ukrainian Air Force on the 20th of May said Russia launched 107 unmanned airplanes into Ukraine at night. Two people were killed in the northeast. Sumi Jacob and several others were injured. Meanwhile, Russia said the country's air defense units shot down 100 BA-2 unmanned aerial vehicles of Ukraine. In some areas throughout the territory, Russia for more. Two people were injured in these attacks. President Zelensky's comments were made in the context, U.S. President Donald Trump's administration. We are trying to bring the two sides to the negotiating table. After Mr. Trump's early efforts, Russia and Ukraine, they are all ready to stop to attack each other's energy infrastructure within 30 days, although not officially signed the agreement. On the phone, Trump suggested to Zelensky that the U.S. can play an important role in the operation of factories, thanks to our expertise in electricity and utilities, and that American ownership of these factories, it will be the best protection. President Zelensky confirmed he discussed with President Trump about the ability of the United States to support recovery. Japanesir nuclear power plant, Europe's largest nuclear facility, is now controlled by Russia. U.S. Special Envoy Step Oldquarter said negotiations on the details of the car ceasefire agreement taking place in Jeddah, Saudi Arabia on the second month. The U.S. delegation will be led by the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, and National Security Advisor, Michael Leeds. However, he did not specify U.S. delegation to negotiate with Russia or Ukraine. Power claim give or further negotiations between Russia and the United States. It can happen on day 2, be months or early next week. Ukrainian officials also said representatives of this country, he will meet with the U.S. delegation in the coming days. In Saudi Arabia, President Putin in June has come up with a new peace proposal to end the conflict in Ukraine. This proposal is expected to recognize the Trump Peninsular People's Republic Donetsk and self-proclaimed Lugansk, as well as the areas of Kherson and Zaporizhzhia. These are regions of Russia, maintain a state of non-alignment and non-alignment, the nuclear forces of Ukraine, demilitarization and defascization GIF, as well as lifting sanctions on Russia. Putin also called on Ukraine, maintain a neutral status, not joining NATO. Ukraine has you. Drop the initiative on. President Zelensky description, Moscow's proposal is an ultimatum. Ladies and gentlemen, Ukrainian state news agency Ogan from Tel. On March 18th, the president of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, spoke at a press conference that while the U.S. President Donald Trump and the president of the Russian Federation, Vladimir Putin, is in talks, the alarm has been raised in Ukraine. It is clear to the Ukrainian people that the agreement between the two leaders has not worked, at least at the present time. Zelensky said, I think that the Ukrainian people understand what's going on currently, and the airstrike alert is still going off in Ukraine. Basically, that's the answer to the current situation. As far as I know, the Russian Federation has stated that, on the phone with President Trump, they've ordered a halt to attacks on infrastructure powered by long-range weapons, including unmanned aerial vehicles out there. But the alarm is still going off, so this deal hasn't worked. General view according to Mr. Zelensky, negotiations between the Ukrainian delegation and the United States in the Saudi Arabian city of Jeddah has achieved some results. Positive special American side has made a proposal for a complete ceasefire, although Ukraine's proposal focuses on stop attacking energy facilities and set up a no gunfire zone. Media and see war. Old man Zelensky tell The only issue discussed at the moment is OT working in the energy sector. I don't have any other information. I think that it would make sense if we had a direct conversation with President Trump to find out the details of what the Russian Federation proposes with the United States, or the United States proposed to the Russian Federation. According to the Ukrainian leader, America with respect, agreements reached with Ukraine, has made suggestions, was discussed during the talks in Zeder. Zelensky also stressed that Ukraine ready to support the proposals, ceasefire at energy facilities, but any details of the agreement between the parties, it needs to be made public. Russian President Biden meet Putin. He wished the Russian army well. Stop attacks on energy sites of Australia in days after the striker with U.S. President Donald Trump. Let Commentel, news agency tells Verrier. According to a statement from Komen, President Putin has supported Trump's idea of Russia and Ukraine. Let's stop attacking energy infrastructure together. For 30 days, the president gave the appropriate order to the military. The Russian president also responded constructively for President Trump's idea about the implementation of the initiative was discussed earlier, related to maritime safety in the Black Sea, the statement said, and at the same time added that the leaders also agreed. Let's start talking about this. President Putin and his American counterpart, Donald Trump, had a 90-minute phone call, March 18th, to discuss the ceasefire in Ukraine in an effort to promote peace. Canley Electric owner stressed that any agreement, it must also be sustainable and long-lasting, getting to the root of the crisis, while also considering the security interest, legal of Russia, related to President Trump's initiative on a 30-day ceasefire. The Russian side has highlighted the main. This includes effective monitoring, ceasefire across the entire front line, stop the forced mobilization in Ukraine, and stop working at the armed forces. Russia also notes the serious risks posed by the violation of the agreement. The Russian leader stressed important conditions to prevent further escalation and towards a political diplomatic solution. We need to completely end foreign military aid, sharing intelligence with Ukraine, in response to President Trump's recent request on ensuring the safety of Ukrainian military personnel surrounded in the poster area. Putin confirmed that Russia always considers humanitarian factors. He confirmed the Ukrainian soldiers surrendered. It will be safe and treated according to the law, Russia, and international humanitarian standards. On the phone yesterday, Putin informed Trump that on March 19th, Russia and Ukraine will exchange 107 prisoners from each outside. As a gesture of goodwill, Russia will hand over 3 Ukrainian soldiers seriously injured. He is receiving medical treatment in Russian hospitals. Both leaders reaffirmed their commitment to continue efforts to resolve the Ukrainian conflict. Bilateral integration of the proposals discussed create favorable conditions for this. Russian and American expert groups will be established. Beyond the Ukraine issue, the two leaders also discussed broader international issues, including the situation in the Middle East and the Red Sea region. Agree coordinate efforts to stabilize crisis areas and increase cooperation on non-proliferation, nuclear, and global security. This will improve the overall situation of U.S. relations. Russia, both leaders expressed common concern in the normalization of bilateral relations, the joint responsibility of Russia and the United States in ensuring global security and stability.